You are not exhausted because life is hard. You are exhausted because you keep explaining yourself to people who were never going to listen. And the worst part? You already knew that. Before the conversation even started, you knew, but you tried anyway, because somewhere inside you, there is still a version of yourself that believes if you just say it right, clearly enough, calmly enough, logically enough, they will finally understand. That version of you is the most dangerous enemy you have, not them. You. Here is the brutal truth that no one tells intelligent people. Your ability to reason, the thing you were praised for your entire life, becomes a weapon pointed at yourself. The moment you use it on the wrong person, you were taught that truth wins, that logic is power, that if you just present the right evidence, the other person will analyze it, reconsider, and update their position. This is a beautiful idea. It is also completely wrong, and it is costing you more than you realize. Psychologists call it the false consensus effect. You assume other minds work like yours. They don't. Most people do not form opinions from evidence. They form opinions from emotion, raw, instant, tribal emotion, and then spend the rest of the conversation looking for anything that confirms what they already feel. So when you arrive with your logic, your data, your careful reasoning, you are not offering them an opportunity. You are issuing a threat to their identity, a threat to their certainty, a threat to the comfortable story they have been telling themselves for years. And the human ego, when threatened, does not open. It locks. Every counter-argument you make gives them more to push against. Every fact you present becomes more evidence that you are the problem. You think you are dismantling their argument. You are building it. You think you are winning. You are bleeding. Let's talk about what is actually happening in these exchanges. You spend 20 minutes, sometimes 20 years, constructing careful, logical responses. They spend zero effort and simply refuse to accept it. They are not smarter than you. They are cheaper to operate. Irrationality has almost no overhead. You are a high-performance machine. Complex processing, enormous fuel consumption, running at full capacity. They are a brick. And a brick does not lose arguments. A brick just sits there until you exhaust yourself, throwing your body against it. This is not a debate problem. This is an energy hemorrhage, and it has been bleeding you dry for longer than you want to admit. The ancient Stoics understood this 2,000 years before psychology gave it a name. Epictetus, a man born into slavery, who owned nothing, controlled nothing, wrote this: "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." He was not talking about acceptance. He was talking about triage, about knowing where your energy actually moves things, and where it simply disappears. You cannot control what a fool believes. You can only control whether you keep paying the cost of trying to change it. So the real question is not, how do I win this argument? The real question is, why am I still standing in this ring? Now, sometimes walking away is not an option. They are your colleague, your manager, your client, your family. The conversation finds you, whether you invite it or not. For these moments, there is a strategy, one that the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer documented 2 centuries ago, and it is ruthless in its precision. Stop disagreeing, not because you agree, because disagreement is the oxygen their argument breathes. Every time you push back, you confirm that their position is worth fighting over. Instead, agree with them completely, enthusiastically, and then follow their logic, all the way to its natural destination. Here is exactly what this looks like. Someone tells you, modern art is a scam. Anyone could paint that. The instinct. Argue. Talk about technique, history, intention, the strategy. Don't. Instead, look them in the eye and say, you are absolutely right. Honestly, why are we even here? Let's quit tomorrow. You handle the paintings. I'll find the galleries. We'll be millionaires by the end of the month. Why hasn't everyone done this? Watch the shift. Their confidence flickers, because, for the first time, they are forced to follow their own logic, past the comfortable surface, all the way to where it actually leads. And it leads somewhere absurd. And they know it. But you never said that. They walked there themselves. You did not defeat them with your intelligence. You handed them enough rope and waited. This is what the Stoics called logos turned inward. You use their own reasoning as the instrument of their undoing. Not cruelty, efficiency. You protect your energy. You exit the friction, and the argument collapses, not because you overpowered it, but because it could not survive its own weight. But what happens when the irrational person holds power over you? When they sign your paycheck? When they decide your future? When they run the room you are forced to sit in every single day? This is where intelligent people make the most expensive mistake of their careers. They let their intelligence show. Think carefully about what that signals to someone who already feels quietly, privately threatened by the minds around them. You are not impressing them. You are holding a mirror up to everything they are afraid of seeing. And people with fragile egos do not examine the mirror. They shatter it. They cannot attack your intelligence directly. That would expose them. So they attack your character instead. He's difficult. She's not a team player. He thinks he's better than everyone. And the system, built by mediocrity, run by consensus, rewards them for it. You did not fail because you were wrong. You failed because you forgot. The oldest rule of dangerous environments: never let them see the weapon. History's most effective strategic minds understood this at an almost instinctual level. They concealed their capabilities, deliberately, patiently, sometimes for years, not out of weakness, but out of an absolute clarity about what actually wins, not the battle, the war. Your intelligence is not a badge to display. It is a concealed asset. And concealed assets are not revealed to those who would confiscate them. So you ask them small questions. You let them correct you on minor details. You thank them for observations that cost them nothing. You are not submitting. You are anesthetizing them. You are feeding their ego, just enough to keep them satisfied, distracted, and looking the other way while you operate. This is not humiliation. This is the Stoic principle of reserve action. Marcus Aurelius called it acting with a hidden clause. You move forward publicly on their terms, and privately on yours. Now, I need to say something that will be uncomfortable. The reason you keep returning to these battles is not strategy. It is not even frustration. It is ego. Your ego. You want them to see it. You want the moment, the exact moment, when recognition crosses their face, when they realize you were right, when they finally, actually see you. And that want, that quiet, desperate need to be understood, is the leash they have been holding this entire time. You handed it to them. The Stoics had a name for this. They called it attachment to external judgment, and they considered it one of the most dangerous traps a thinking mind could fall into. Marcus Aurelius Emperor of Rome, commander of legions, the most powerful man alive in his time, wrote this in his private journal, not for history, not for praise, just for himself. Alone. At night. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He was not writing about battlefields. He was writing about this exact moment, the internal war, between your need to be understood and the freedom that comes from releasing it entirely. The moment you stop needing their acknowledgement, something fundamental shifts. Not in them, in you. You stop being a participant in the chaos. You become its observer, and from that position, elevated, detached, clear, you can finally think. You can plan. You can build, while everyone else burns their lives, fighting over who is right. You are quietly becoming someone who simply wins. You came here exhausted, tired of being the smartest person, in conversations that left you feeling stupid, tired of doing all the work, and watching them walk away, like they won. The answer was never a sharper argument. The answer is a different game entirely. Stop playing for recognition. Start playing for results. Protect your mental energy the way you would protect any finite, irreplaceable resource, because that is exactly what it is. The Stoics did not build their philosophy to win debates. They built it to build lives, lives of clarity, purpose, and unshakable inner power. That is what this channel is for. That is what you are here to build. Now go.